Chapter 1 of The White Linen Nurse. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. The White Linen Nurse by Eleanor Hallowell Abbott. Chapter 1. The White Linen Nurse was so tired that her noble expression ached. Incidentally, her head ached, and her shoulders ached, and her lungs ached, and the ankle bones of both feet ached quite excruciatingly. But nothing of her felt permanently incapacitated except her noble expression. Like a strip of lip-colored lead, suspended from her poor little nose by two tugging wire-gray wrinkles, her persistently conscientious sick-room smile seemed to be whanging aimlessly against her front teeth. The sensation certainly was very unpleasant. Looking back thus on the three spine-curving, chest-cramping, foot-twinging, ether-scented years of her hospital training, it dawned on the White Linen Nurse very suddenly that nothing of her ever had felt permanently incapacitated except her noble expression. Impulsively she sprang for the prim white mirror that capped her prim white bureau, and stood staring up into her own entrancing, bright-colored Nova Scotian reflection with tense and unwonted interest. Except for the unmistakable smirk which fatigue had clawed into her plastic young mouth lines, there was certainly nothing special the matter with what she saw. "Perfectly good face," she attested judicially, with no more than common courtesy to her progenitors. "Perfectly good and tidy-looking face. If only, her breath caught a trifle. If only it didn't look so disgustingly noble, and hygienic, and dollish." All along the back of her neck little sharp prickly pains began suddenly to sting and burn. "Silly, simpering, pink-and-white puppet," she scolded squintingly. "I'll teach you how to look like a real girl." Very threateningly she raised herself to her tiptoes and thrust her glowing corporeal face right up into the molten, elusive quicksilver face in the mirror. Pink for pink, blue for blue, gold for gold, dollish smirk for dollish smirk, the mirror mocked her seething inner fretfulness. "Why, darn you!" she gasped. "Why, darn you! Why, you looked more human than that when you left the Annapolis Valley 3 years ago. There were at least tears in your face then, and cinders, and your mother's best advice, and the worry about the mortgage, and the blush of Joe Hazelton's kiss." Furtively, with the tip of her index finger, she started to search her imperturbable pink cheek for the spot where Joe Hazelton's kiss had formerly flamed. "My hands are all right, anyway," she acknowledged with infinite relief. Triumphantly she raised both strong, stub-fingered, exaggeratedly executive hands to the level of her childish blue eyes and stood surveying the mirrored effect with ineffable satisfaction. "Why, my hands are dandy!" she gloated. "Why, they're perfectly dandy! Why, they're wonderful! Why, they're—" Then suddenly and fearfully she gave a shrill little scream. "But they don't go with my silly doll face!" she cried. "Why, they don't! They don't! They go with the senior surgeon's scowling Heidelberg eyes! They go with the senior surgeon's grim gray jaw! They go with the— Oh, what shall I do? What shall I do?" Dizzily, with her stubby fingertips prodded deep into every jaded facial muscle that she could compass, she staggered towards the air, and dropping down into the first friendly chair that bumped against her knees, sat staring blankly out across the monotonous city roofs that flanked her open window, trying very, very hard, for the first time in her life, to consider the general phenomenon of being a trained nurse. All around
Sample complete. Ready to continue?